So Laura, I'm on here with my review of Inuyashiki episode 3. Another really good episode. I mean, I love this episode. And this author is amazing because episode 1 was like sad, right? Episode 1 was like, this is really on my heartstrings. Episode 2 was like, this was the best depiction ever of a psychopath. So like almost like a psychological, very interesting episode, very philosophical, very good episode in that sense. And then this episode is really funny. Like this episode is funny. It has some sick moments as well, and some bad ones, but it's mainly a really comedic episode. And people gonna kill you. Not obviously you're mainly laughing at the guy got killed, but it's mainly like you see the old man trying to of course fly, and it's like singing Astro opening there. It's like little in size but big in, and then he gets it to fly and so on. That's a really good scene. I love that scene, especially how it ended because it seemed like trying to fly up and down. Then we see it flying towards the burning house, and just before you get there, you see the kids like crying outside. I see him go back like fly, lands on the back next to them, like like really clumsy. That was great. That was really funny, and generally has some other good jokes to write when he's training or trying to fly. One people can buy like. What's the old man doing? Don't look at him, kid. He's shooting. He's exercising. Old man people. Old stuff. Yeah, so there's a lot of good jokes there with him, but also generally all the stuff as well, right? And so yeah, like it managed to be really funny, while also being like completely insanely psychopathic with his side. And often we look at the anime as a whole, and I say again, man, super sad, very like psychologically interesting, and then comedy. So it's like wow, it's hitting everywhere. But anyway. I also really liked how Inuyashiki learned to heal. So first we saw Hiro could heal, and it wasn't really clear how he could do it, but I really liked how he because first of all that scene was a shock to me. You see a cat, right, and a kitten walking past. He's like, oh cute, and it looks like Hanako too, like his dog, right? So you walk past them, and then as soon as you pass them, a car hits them. I freaked out. I was like, what? Damn this anime, freaking heartstring anime, yeah, like you were supposed to cat right there, yeah. And but of course he could heal it there. So I think that was a really good scene. How he learned to heal by saving the cat there. That felt like a very like an automatic way to learn his new powers. So that was really good, I think. And we could see also like he could see organs. So it was a great touch to it too. He could see it insides and say, okay, this body part is injured. I can fix it with my tech stuff. So I think that was really good. I think it was a really good writing there as well. And I also got to before that with the whole hospital thing. Also was really great. Him going to the hospital, right? So I think a very good thing in the episode is it really showcased to the gigantic difference between the main characters, right? Because they really have two different stories to follow, right? And I mean, Inuyashiki, of course, he's a good guy. I mean, we don't hear he's an evil guy, psychopath, and so on, right? But they really focus here on the cancer thing. I think it was really great, right? Because he's healing his friend's finger after paper cut. And then here he's like, probably I could kill cancer. Why would I do that? It's like, he's just completely evil, right? It's like, I probably could cure cancer, but yeah, it's too much of a hassle, so I won't even do it. Let them die, like that kind of behavior, right? It's like, and of course, what Inuyashiki is that as soon as he said, I could heal a cat, maybe I could heal humans, I gotta go and heal cancer. Yeah, so it's like completely, like they are as far away as you can be, right? So as character, I think that's really good too. This episode really portrays it. I mean, sure, episode 2, of course, he was a healer, he wanted to kill people, but just that aspect alone, as soon as he's like, I could heal cancer. Yeah, like that's his first talk, right? We hear it's like, I can heal cancer. Like that's a lot of work to cancer. I'm gonna do that. Let them die. Yeah, so that kind of difference. I think it was a very good portrayal there. So that was great. Those scenes, like the episode beginning with him laughing at cancer, and then ends with him curing cancer. Right? So I think that was really good. I mean, assuming we actually didn't see him cure cancer, but I assumed he could do it. Okay, why not? He could probably go in, like look at his cells and remove the particular cells and so on. That being said, though, he probably can't like cure cancer. He can just cure individual people's bodies harms, right? He couldn't like invent a medicine against cancer. Maybe he can though, but for now I would assume he just could heal them by touching that specific person, right? Without actually having an antidote for whatever disease. So that was great. The old man part was just really funny. Oh yeah, of course, we also had a tag scene. That scene was like, I don't think it wasn't a bad scene. It was very cliche, but it kind of worked, right? Because it was like a very typical scene behind me here, typical Spider-Man scene, right? Very much like that, right? Okay, so the hero, like Peter Parker, so yeah, the hero gets his power, and then of course he sees these bad people at school, right? These bullies or whatever, like Flash Thompson or so on, right? Flash Thompson. He's like, okay, I gotta go and defeat those guys. I gotta go and save this other guy, right? Or so on, right? Yeah. But that typical scene there. So while it was absurd cliche, of course, because it was about basic hero day one episode, right? It was still kind of funny because he can't really control his powers. And he looks quite an old man, so he looks quite pathetic and so on. So it worked out as a mainly a comedic part. But generally I still liked it because it felt kind of needed. Yes and no. I mean, if it didn't have that part, I probably wouldn't have minded much either. I mean, I liked the part, but if it wasn't in there and you went straight to trying to fly for a burning building, because that was much more important. That was important for the story. Like, how do I fly, right? How do I control my powers? Just beating these tags. That was just a classic, like, okay, I gotta go save people from random people. Right? So that didn't really add so much to it, but it was a classic, like, first day of hero school. So I think it was a pretty good, well, it was a good scene. But I wish, one thing I say that scene though is I wish he probably would have said something to himself. Maybe like, how do I punch harder? Or, because it kind of felt like he punched a few times, nothing really happened. Then suddenly he could just like smash one away and then you just kind of died. So I wish he would have had 1 or 2 comments there. He was like, I can't really like control my strength level. Sometimes I punch for 1 Newton power. Sometimes I do a press for like 10,000 millions pressure, and then you just vaporize them. I can't really control. That would be interesting if something. I think that was only lacking there. Still a good scene though. I think that could have been the problem. That would be a little better. So let's go to Hero then. So this is a great anime because I mean I am interested in both characters, both the stories. So Hero. I like the whole thing generally, that he goes with his friends, trying to, like, come on, man, you gotta be friends with me, that, because he's narcissist. He's a very good psychopath. I really love this, as I mentioned last week. I think it's really, really good writing. And I think, especially then, the second scene there, when he's, like, crushing the very bully's hands, right? That's a great scene because, most, I got the powers, he's probably the best of it, but he's a typical psychopath. So he has very, very strong impulse control, Again, very good psychopath. So he can control his impulse, his emotions, yeah. So he's like, I'm just gonna crush you. But I'm not gonna like crush you in front of people, right? Yeah. Because then I'll get in trouble. So he just hurts them a bit, get them to leave, right? And then he kills them later. It's actually a textbook for a real psychopath. Yeah, you kill them later after a few years. Revenge, yeah. Revenge, yeah, pretty much so. So I like that scene a lot. But I wasn't a super big fan of the shooting scene. I think it was a good scene generally, because it's like, yeah, okay. But yeah, it felt a little stupid. I wish they could do pretty much the exact same thing, just a little later. I think that would be way better. It actually would make a lot more sense if you did that, because it's supposed to be, like very much like control, right? So while yes and no though, because I do feel that Hero though, he's like a very intelligent guy, very much control, but he is obviously getting more and more overconfident. So in that sense though, because next is after, he's like, I can hack things, I can get money, who cares? So I think that was good though. He kind of beat up his weakness, right, of overconfidence. So in that sense it was good. But I would say though, I think that scene, maybe that scene is sad, but I think that if, like, I his shoes, I want to kill these 4 guys. I would have killed them a little later, right? Even if I killed them that day, I mean, I would have waited for them to leave school and then shoot them, at the town. I follow them, shoot them at whatever, right? A town, something similar to that. Even if I would fly up to like a building in town and shoot them from that place, would be better, because shooting them from the roof of the school still means that they know that you shot them from the roof of the school, right? So that is a big liability for him. So I did not like that too much. I felt him that was his. So far, I was his one mistake. That was all mistake. Yeah, because all the seasons have been like, oh, I killed his family. Who's fighting? Yeah. Oh, I killed his dog and his family. No one's gonna find out that, but shooting them from the rooftop, even if you don't have gunpowder and so on, they can track the projectile trajectory. That is very easy to do. Something you learn in like, I mean, I learned that when I was like 12 or something. But whatever, yeah, that's pretty basic physics math, right? Like how you calculate a projection, right? So you shoot something here, it falls down, you can angle it X, Y. It's kind of simple. It's X, Y, yeah, and you can calculate. I don't calculate just from like the ground to the ground, or you hit like, oh yeah, you're on a rooftop. So you also calculate like the falling of, yeah, and so on, right? And of course, if you're doing a real like CSI thing, you also add like wind pressure and blah 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 and so on. But I'm sure they could calculate pretty easily, because this test he shot at them wasn't that big, right? He shot them from like rooftop of school, to like school yard, right? So it wasn't there like leaving like outside the schoolyard pretty much. So calculating where he stood shooting them at them is probably really easily if someone does that for a living, and that's probably quite easily. That would mean that someone can say that who could reach the rooftop? Well, students and teachers. And then someone said, did anyone see someone at the rooftop? Obviously, and someone was like, I saw Hiro and his friend. Yeah, so I think that was a big issue for me. Not a big issue, but I think that was a little. I mean, it depends. I think they played it good though. They played it good because they made him go into more and more. I could hack stuff. I could do this. It made him. It was a very good red line of like progression of overconfidence. So that made a lot of sense to me. So I like that. But at the same time, I was like, man, couldn't he just like wait for like 5 minutes and shoot him, for somewhere else, a little further away or something? So it's a little harder for the like jump to another rooftop. Yeah, like just jump to another rooftop closer to school. To that rooftop, so then it would be like, who could reach up here? Well, any sniper, so to speak. But like then they wouldn't have like this particular guy. No shot for a place where he could walk to. So it's kind of like, what he had access to. Yeah, so that leaves it back to him, right? So I think that was a little stupid of him. But I really like the scene when his friends stood up, though. It was kind of obvious he's gonna leave him, right? I say that for my team from the opening. He's gonna help out Inuyashiki, see them next to each other in the opening, so he probably will have to fight his evil former best friend, right? I was say best friend, but yeah, former best friend. But that's the end. I think that was a great scene as well. A very good scene in the episode. It's a very impactful scene because we have like, okay, picture being that guy shoots. You're like, can we stop being friends? I know you can kill anyone like by just looking at them, and you can hack people's stuff and you can murder people and so on. Can I still stop being your friend? Like that was a really powerful thing. I think it was a great scene there. And they did it classically well though, to like on a bridge with the sunset. Yeah, so it was a great scene. It really was a good scene. Quite a dramatic scene really. But I mean I assume it will survive the court because he obviously will have more part of the storyline, knowing the truth and so on. So of course he had to survive. So there's a real chance of him being injured. And also of course. But I think the biggest part of the scene that made it really good too, not all his courage, but it's a really, really, brave scene, right? Is his response to. Not only that it won't hurt him because he's a psychopath, it's like whatever, yeah, like typical psychopath. He feels betrayed, but he wouldn't really, yeah. So that makes sense. Great writing for always. But I really, really like his response. He's like, I can't be friends with someone that can kill people so easily. He's like, but I always could do this. It's like, I always would do it. Like, it's no different than yesterday. And it's like, no, but you're going crazy with these machine things. Like, no, I would always, if I could kill people yesterday, I would have killed people yesterday. And I think that's a great scene, right? Because that's a great characterization there. Because he's like, no, I would always murder everyone if I could. I would always murder people if I could. I just didn't have the superpower to murder people last month. No, I can murder bullies, so I'm gonna murder them. Like, what's the problem, bro? Like, I always told you I would kill them if I could. You were like, yeah, we should kill him one day, but I actually meant that. Yeah, so I think that's really, really good. It's like, because obviously they were being bullied by these taller, delinquent guys and so on, right? And he probably said like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hurt them, and he mentioned that in the flashback episode 2, right? It's like, I would hurt my friends, so yeah. So obviously it's like, no, I mean, I said to you last month that I would kill them to help you if I could, and you were like, yeah, and it's like, I meant it. I would kill them. It's like, I will kill them now. So I think that's really, really good writing. Really specific to his character. I think it's great. It's like he's not crazy. He's not going crazy by the machine power, as his friend said. No. He always was this. He just didn't have the machine power. Now he has the machine power, and he's gonna utilize it the way he wants, right? So I think that makes it a really good, really, really good character. Again, really stating that like both two really fantastic characters. So anyway, I hope you liked this review. See you next week and have a great day.